Hi, this is Professor Smith again. In this video, we're going to look at an example of writing functions. So this is a normal sketch. It starts off just as any normal sketch with setup and then goes into loop. In this sketch, I've implemented a function for calculating y in a line. So we've got the equation y equals mx plus b, and my function implements that calculation and returns y. So let's look at that. Here in loop, the first thing I have is my x variable. I'm making it static because I'm going to want to jump through and use x over and over again, continuing to increase it. And then I create my y variable and I initialize that to 0. Next, I call my function for calculating y. So let's jump down there and look at it. Here's my function for calculating y. It returns an int. Here's the return type. The function name is calc_y. And it takes one parameter, which is an integer, and that parameter is just going to be the x value. So I named it x value. Here's the calculation for y. First, create my variable y. I then say y is equal to 5x plus 3. So my m is 5 and my b is 3. This function returns an integer, and in this case, I'm returning y, which is an integer. The code would then jump back up to the line right below, y equals calc_y, and then print out the values for x and y on the serial monitor. I then increase x, and I'm going to loop back up and do it again. I put a delay in there just so that it goes a little slower, otherwise it goes so fast it's hard to watch. One thing I don't like about the loop function, the way I've written it, is it still contains a lot of code, and I'd like to simplify that. So first I'm going to create a function that will print out the values of x and y. And that'll greatly simplify our loop function. So let's do that. So first I create my function. It's going to be a void function since it's going to not return anything. The name I'm going to give it is print xy. And it's going to take two parameters. It's going to take the x and y values so they can print those out. I'm then going to cut and paste the serial print statements that print out x and y and put them in my print xy function. And finally, I'm going to add a call to the print xy function in order to print out the x and y values. As I've mentioned before, it's really a good idea to keep your loop function simple. And in this case, we still have the code for setting up and then calling our calculate y, and then for printing our xy. So there's one more step we can take to simplify this. What we're going to do is create a function called printline. This function will then calculate our value for x, call the calc y, print xy, and then increment our x again. And in this way, we can remove that code from loop. So let's do that. So now all we need to do is add a call to printline in loop, and we're done. Now that we've simplified loop, the flow of our program is this. First, we call printline. Printline then calls calc_y, and then printline calls print xy. And so therefore, we have a very simple loop, and all the work is being done in our worker functions.